In response to the question about how devastating white moonlight can be, I saw my boyfriend's answer. It was too devastating, so I proposed to her sister because I wanted to protect her in the name of family. I am that sister. But I wasn't as upset as I imagined. Because the highest rated answer to this question was written by me. I also have a secret I can't tell anyone. The doorbell rang. At the door was my boyfriend and fiancé, who was drunk out of his mind. Last week, he proposed to me, and I accepted. At that moment, his eyes were red, and he reeked of alcohol. He looked like he had been crying, and his brother was helping him inside. Sis, Jake just felt that marrying you wasn't easy, so he got emotional and cried. He got a little too excited and drank too much. All right, thank you for bringing him back. As soon as the door closed, Jacob pulled me into his arms. Finally, we can be a family. After helping him lie down on the sofa, I noticed his phone kept popping up with likes and comments. I unlocked it with his fingerprint. I found he had answered a question on Quora about how devastating a white moonlight can be. He replied, "It's too powerful." At first, I chased after her younger sister just so I could meet her properly and call her sister. Now her younger sister loves me and is very kind to me, but I don't love her that much. Or maybe I just don't know if I love her at all. In my heart, she will always be her sister, and no one can replace her. Proposing to her younger sister was actually my way of protecting her under the guise of family. I recalled the first time I introduced him to my sister. I hadn't even introduced her to him yet, but he politely said, "Hello, sister." I didn't pay much attention at the time. Now, thinking back on my sister's surprise and confusion, as well as Jacob's meaningful expression, the atmosphere was incredibly ambiguous. Actually, Emily Harris isn't my biological sister, she's Mrs. Harris's daughter. She came to our house when I was in high school, a year older than me. My father really liked her. Mrs. Harris was spoiled, and Emily Harris took advantage of that to compete with me in everything, even stealing my father's love. Whenever we were at home, we would argue. As we grew older, our relationship improved slightly, but on the surface we were harmonious, while secretly still competing with each other. Looking back now, she has completely outdone me. I ended up with the man she once rejected, and ironically, he is deeply in love with her, still seeing her as his ideal woman. I suddenly remembered the Facebook post Jacob made when he proposed. "I will become your family and always protect you." My sister commented below, congratulating them. Looking at that response now, I realized there was another meaning behind it. 90% of it was about how much he couldn't let go of my sister after their breakup, and how he discovered I was her younger sister during one of his stalking attempts. That's when he started pursuing me. So that's how it was. Jacob on the sofa suddenly grabbed my wrist. "Sister, don't abandon me." I broke free without expression. Jacob didn't know that he wasn't the only one who had answered that question. The highest rated comment under that question was written by me, with 20,000 likes. But I had written it casually and never paid attention to it again. In truth, my dream should have ended long ago. Jacob was never the one for me. But I couldn't leave. I still had unfinished business. The next morning, when Jacob woke up, I had prepared breakfast, but he didn't even eat it. He hurriedly put on his shoes, grabbed his car keys, and rushed out the door. I called out to him, "Aren't we supposed to go look at wedding dresses this morning?" He replied, "We can go in the afternoon. I have something to do now." I didn't need to ask, I knew who had sent him the message. Years ago, my older sister finally married into a wealthy family. But her husband wasn't kind to her. He was promiscuous and had a violent temper, but she loved money and her reputation, so she kept putting off divorce. She posted a message on Facebook that morning. "The hangover feels awful, my head is about to explode. No need to think about it, I know exactly who Jacob is rushing to check on." In the afternoon, Jacob called me downstairs. He opened the car door, and my sister was sitting in the passenger seat. Jacob said, "I just ran into your sister downstairs. She said she'd come to give you some advice." There was a small cut on his lip. Her lips were also red, with some smudges of lipstick. She said, "Right, I'll help you pick." I have a good eye for this kind of thing. I nodded indifferently. Sure, you're experienced. Seeing my unusually calm reaction, she added, I've always had a bit of motion sickness. Sitting in the passenger seat is more comfortable for me. You don't mind, do you? I didn't say anything. Gu Jacob spoke first. What's there to mind? Sitting anywhere is fine, right, Olivia Harper? Midway through the ride, my sister suddenly said. By the way, I have some good news to share with you, I'm divorced. The car suddenly braked sharply, and I jolted forward. Gu Jacob's voice was hoarse. You're divorced? My sister smiled slightly. Yes, I got divorced. We couldn't go on anymore. I want a fresh start. Jacob stared at her for a long time, and the two of them looked like they were in a TV drama. I had to interrupt. What are we waiting for? Why aren't we leaving? The atmosphere in the car was tense all the way to the bridal shop. I tried on the first wedding dress and came out of the fitting room. Gu Jacob was still talking to my sister, completely oblivious to me, until the salesperson complimented me, causing him to turn his head and fix his gaze on me. I smiled at him. It's beautiful, very beautiful. This is the one. I clenched my fist. This one? My sister flipped her hair and said, Come on, you're being too casual. Try some others. Just then, my sister's ex-husband, Ryan Scott, burst in. Ryan Scott grabbed my sister's wrist and glared at her angrily. Last night I was drunk, and you dared to trick me into signing the divorce agreement? How dare you? My sister immediately hid behind Gu Jacob. You signed it yourself. Don't bother me. Gu Jacob rushed over and punched him twice. You're already divorced. How dare you still bother her? Just get lost. Her brother-in-law was knocked to the ground. But he bumped into me, who was wearing high heels, and I lost my balance, falling to the ground with a sharp pain in my ankle. Gu Jacob grabbed Ryan Scott by the collar and told him to get out. When he came in, he rushed to his sister's side. Sister, are you okay? The sales clerk helped me up with a complicated expression. Mr. Gu, Miss, he seems to have twisted her ankle. He finally came over to look at me. But the next second, my sister fainted. He turned around without hesitation to find my sister, picked her up, and said, Olivia Harper, I'll take your sister to the hospital first. You try to get up on your own. Okay, remember to come back. My foot hurt a bit, but after standing up, I felt okay and could walk. The sales associate asked me with a complicated expression, Miss He, should we try on some other wedding dresses? No, let's talk about it another time. Sure enough, Gu Jacob didn't come to the bridal shop to find me all day. He told me to go home and rest first, saying that my sister was very weak and needed to be hospitalized, and he was taking care of her at the hospital. Late at night, I opened my phone case and took out a photo. Nathan Carter, did you see it? I wore a wedding dress today. However, the only response was the endless darkness of the night. The next day, I drove alone to the cemetery on the outskirts of the city. At Nathan Carter's grave, there stood a couple and a young boy. I was surprised. May I ask who you are? The couple, upon seeing me, were very emotional. Nathan Carter was our savior. You must be his girlfriend, right? I nodded blankly. Your boyfriend donated his corneas to my son. I don't know how to thank his family. Please take this bank card. My heart sank. I looked down at the little boy with his big grape-like eyes, and tears welled up in my eyes. Little boy, your name is Gu Jacob? The little boy nodded. Yes, sister, my name is Gu Jacob. It turns out I've been mistaken all along. I've been looking for the wrong person. The one with Nathan Carter's eyes has never been the Gu Jacob I've known all this time. The couple was still talking, but I couldn't hear a word they said. I smiled and ruffled the little boy's hair. Gu Jacob, it's nice to meet you. Grow up to be a good boy. The little boy nodded and looked up at me. Sister, what kind of person is the big brother? He's a cool and gentle person who can beat up anyone who bullies me. The little boy handed me the umbrella he was holding. Sister, don't be sad. This umbrella is for you. The big brother will definitely protect you from heaven. I touched his head. Thank you. I kept the bank card. After they left, I slowly knelt down and stroked the photo on the tombstone. Nate, do you blame me for mistaking you for someone else? The good Jacob I found wasn't the good Jacob I was looking for. He was just an unimportant person. I was thinking about how to get to know him, but he approached me first, so we ended up together. Every time I looked into his eyes, I showed him my best side. But when he closed his eyes, I didn't even have the strength to smile. At this moment, all the obsession I'd held onto for so long vanished in an instant. Good Jacob called me. I hung up without thinking. The wind whistled in my ears, and the rain fell heavily. The man's silhouette on the tombstone was cold and stern, but his black eyelashes were soft and drooping, and his gaze was as gentle as water. This was the photo I took of him. But when I took it, I never imagined it would become a black and white photo stuck on a cold tombstone. I whispered to him, "Nathan Carter, when will you wear a suit for me to see? Do you think this is all a dream? Will you wake up tomorrow and be alive again? If you can hear me, please make the rain stop, okay?" At that moment, the rain suddenly grew lighter. The pattering on the umbrella gradually faded away. The rain had truly stopped. The wind from afar blew my hair. It also dried the tears at the corners of my eyes, so gently, so gently. My hair gently brushed against my cheek, as if he were caressing my face. "Don't cry, I've always been by your side." I suddenly recalled that summer when I was 17. That day, my sister and I had an argument. She had moved her things into my room without permission, taking over my space. We got into a fight, and Mrs. Harris couldn't pry us apart no matter how hard she tried. When my father came home, he didn't even bother to find out what happened. He came over and slapped me across the face, knocking my head to the side. "Look at your sister's face, you scratched it all up." I slammed the door and ran to find Nathan Carter. In his tattoo shop, I kept my head down. But he came over and ruffled my hair. "Why are your eyes so red? Did you get into a fight with someone?" "No, I just fell down." He picked up the first aid kit and gently applied ointment with his long fingers wrapped in tattoos. "Who bullied you? Tell me." I couldn't hold back anymore and threw myself into his arms, crying uncontrollably. I soaked his black shirt with my tears. He usually kept a polite distance from me, but that time he didn't push me away. Instead, he gently patted my back. In the end, I fell asleep in his arms. It was the warmest embrace I'd felt since my mother left. I was hopelessly in love with him. Of course, it was a secret crush. He looked cool and aloof, but in reality, he was kinder than anyone I'd ever known. Meanwhile, my sister posted a photo on Facebook. The photo she posted showed a pot of salty bone soup and chicken soup on a hospital bed, with the caption, "Having you around always makes me feel at ease." In the background, Good Jacob's hand was accidentally captured in the frame. He had been at the hospital with her for 2 days. I didn't want to think about it anymore, so I quietly went home to pack my things and prepare to leave. By the time I had packed most of my things, Good Jacob returned. In the past, whenever our eyes met, I would always smile gently at him. But now, I couldn't even be bothered to lift my head. I treated him like he wasn't there. At that moment, Good Jacob suddenly grabbed my hand. "Olivia Harper, let's talk." "Talk about what? Have you decided on the wedding dress yet?" "No. Our wedding." Seeing him stammer, I finished his sentence for him. "Okay, let's not get married. Let's call it off." My decisive tone left him speechless. "Cancel? I didn't say we shouldn't get married. I just meant maybe we could postpone it for a week or so." "You didn't say that, so I'll take it as a yes. There's no need to postpone it. Let's just call off the wedding. It's better for both of us." After saying that, I walked into the room, dragged out my packed suitcase, and prepared to leave. He frowned and looked at my luggage. "Why are you packing your luggage?" "Don't pretend," I smiled. "The power of a white moonlight is indeed quite strong. I can really understand you. Go find your good sister." His pupils trembled. "You. Did you see my answer on Quora?" "Yes, I saw it. It was well written. But not as well as mine." He looked as if his soul had been sucked out of him. He opened his mouth but couldn't say anything. Then, under my gaze, he lowered his head with a look of shame. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it. I really can't forget your sister. Do you know that she was my first love and the first person I loved with all my heart? Unfortunately, she thought I was too young and immature at the time. Now that you know. I didn't want to listen to him pour his heart out, so I interrupted him. Well, she's divorced now. You can go find her and rekindle your old flame. I support you. I didn't feel like telling him the truth. Emily Harris didn't reject him because he was too young, it was because his family was poor. He was luckier than me. At least his white moonlight was still alive. After saying that, I dragged my suitcase out of the house. Jacob didn't chase after me, just as I had hoped. If he had chased after me, that would have been a hassle. By then, the sky had grown dark. I dragged my suitcase out of the community gate. Liv, come here. My heart skipped a beat, and I looked up. Nathan Carter was standing under a tree. My nose suddenly felt sore, and I couldn't help but speed up toward him. Nate. Under the dim streetlight, the man wore a thin black jacket, his fingertips holding a half-lit cigarette. Behind him, the city's neon lights shone brightly. He smiled. I told you to come over, so you came. Are you afraid I'll kidnap you? I'm not afraid. Take me with you. Give me the suitcase. But just then, a car screeched past, and Nathan Carter's figure vanished in an instant. My smile froze on my lips as I looked around in confusion, searching for his figure in a daze. Nathan Carter. The fallen leaves of late autumn drifted down, and there was no trace of him to be found. It was just a hallucination. I thought he really came to pick me up. Just then, a car pulled up by the roadside, and out stepped my older sister, whom I hadn't seen in days. She looked much healthier, her complexion rosy. Seeing me crying, she approached with a look of surprise. Oh, crying so hard? What's wrong? You two are about to get married and you're still arguing? It's not because of me, is it? I turned away and wiped the corner of my eye. Don't overthink it. How's your health? I'm fine now, thanks to my brother-in-law taking such good care of me these past few days, making me all kinds of nutritious meals. You'll be so lucky to marry him. I nodded. Yeah, I'll give you that luck. Her expression changed. What do you mean? You know I just got divorced. Are you trying to rub it in? Don't overthink it. You're his white moonlight, he's madly in love with you. You two should just get together already. At this moment, making things clear is what I should do, to avoid being dragged into their intense love triangle. I waved at a taxi approaching in the distance. To be honest, Olivia Harper, you don't need to mock me like that. She suddenly shouted from behind me. I give up. She calls that mocking me? I don't need you to give me any blessings. Do you understand? All I have to do is stand there, and Jacob will love me. I don't have to do anything. I glanced at her indifferently. As your older sister, I'll wish you a happy second marriage in advance. After saying that, I smiled at her and got into the taxi. She punched the air, leaving only silence behind. The scenery outside the taxi window kept passing by, with light and shadow intertwining. The taxi was playing a song about a clock ticking in the opposite direction. The driver must have noticed my mood and struck up a conversation. Young lady, I heard that if you listen to a song about a clock ticking in the opposite direction 1,000 times, you can go back to the past. Really? Do you believe that too, sir? Well, we're human beings. We have to believe in something to give us the strength to keep going. Why don't you try it? All right, I'll listen to it as soon as I get home. But in truth, I've already listened to this song nearly 2,000 times. I want to go back to the past more than anyone else, back to the time when Nathan Carter was there. Back to our first encounter. At that time, Mrs. Harris had just come to my house. I felt like an outsider. After school, I would rather wander aimlessly outside than go home. It was during one of those aimless strolls that I accidentally stumbled into Nathan Carter's tattoo shop, located in a quiet corner of the street. The shop was called Old Harbor. Both walls were lined with bookshelves filled with thick old books, magazines, picture books, and a few small wooden round tables. At first, I thought it was a small bookstore where you could study. I found a spot by the window, sat down, and started working on my practice problems. Before long, a muscular guy with a tattoo on his chest came out, and I jumped up in fright. "Don't be afraid, girl. I'm a good guy." The muscular guy covered his chest when he saw me. "Hey, you're done. Put your shirt back on." A clear, magnetic voice rang out behind him. The next second, a t-shirt flew over the man's head. The man who came out behind him was tall, with broad shoulders covered by a black t-shirt. He looked cold but striking. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you guys." I quickly gathered my books and prepared to run away, but the man blocked my way. "Hey, kid, did you misunderstand something?" "I won't tell anyone, you don't need to explain." The man chuckled softly. "This is a legitimate tattoo shop." "What were you thinking?" The moment our eyes met, my heart began to race. "All right, I was overthinking it." I looked around and said sincerely, "Well, that's perfect. Boss, can you give me one too? Something that makes me look tough." "You?" He scanned me up and down and smiled. "Sorry, we don't serve minors here." "All right, can I stay here for a while?" "Go ahead." I didn't have much experience dealing with adults back then, so I mustered up the courage to say, "My name is Olivia Harper," with the grass radical above the character Xuan. "Oh, hello, He Chao Xian." He was doing that on purpose. Later, I found out his name was Nathan Carter. I also learned he was 7 years older than me, not only the owner of Old Harbor Tattoo Shop but also had held his own art exhibition, jokingly calling himself a half-baked artist. Every time I think back to our first meeting, I can't help but laugh. After laughing, it's followed by a piercing pain. After parting ways with Gu Jacob, I didn't return to my father's mansion. My father would definitely say all sorts of things about me, and I didn't feel like explaining the complicated details to him. Anyway, Emily Harris would surely rush to tell him. After all, she considered her divorce a disgrace, so she would naturally rush to announce the cancellation of my engagement to everyone, so she wouldn't be the only one losing face. I went to my best friend Sophia Bennett's house. She was my college roommate and close friend. When we met, Sophia Bennett gave me a big hug. "Xian Xian, get some rest tonight. Tomorrow I'll take you out to relax. Let's not think about those sad things, okay?" "I'm fine. I just feel like the past 2 years have been a waste of my time. I've been with the wrong person all along." "Exactly." Before Sophia Bennett knew the reason behind my relationship with Gu Jacob, she thought he didn't love me much. He was always hot and cold toward me, lacking the thoughtfulness of a boyfriend. But I didn't love Gu Jacob much either. The one I've always loved is Nathan Carter. I hope he'll use those eyes to look at me more often. That way, I'll feel like he's still by my side watching over me, and thinking about him will make me feel a little better. What a fool I am. The next evening, Sophia Bennett took me to her family's bar. The lights were bright, the shadows danced, and the music and voices mingled with the clinking of glasses. Nathan Carter didn't want me to drink. I had always listened to him, and in the years since he left, I had hardly touched alcohol. But now I wanted to drink. That evening, I tasted the sweetness of hallucinations. Soon after, someone grabbed my wrist from behind. "Olivia Harper, stop drinking." I turned around to see Gu Jacob standing there, frowning at me. My expression grew cold as I pulled my hand away and asked him, "Does this have anything to do with you?" "Olivia Harper, I know you're upset about what I said on Quora, but you don't have to come here to drown your sorrows, do you?" The more I listened, the more annoyed I became. I had no patience left for him. "It's none of your business. I already gave you what you wanted. Don't bother me." He stared at me in disbelief. I had always spoken to him in a soft, gentle voice, let alone use swear words. He had never seen me like this before. But that gentleness was never for him. It was only because I wanted Nathan Carter to see me as gentle, as someone who was living a good life, as someone who was happy. 17. Stop drinking. Look at yourself. Gu Jacob snatched the glass from my hand and slammed it on the table. "This isn't like you." Sophia Bennett pushed her way out of the dance floor. She stood between me and Gu Jacob. At that moment, Emily Harris also came over, wrapping her arm around Gu Jacob's arm. Jacob, what are you worried about? Xian has been hanging out with roughnecks since high school, she can hold her liquor. I smiled but didn't deny it, right? Gu Jacob sighed, Olivia Harper, let's talk this out at home. There's no need to make such a scene. I said, I won't go back to that place anymore. I wish you both happiness. Sophia Bennett continued, Gu Jacob, your white moonlight is right there in your arms. Why are you here looking for Xian? She's blessing the two of you to be together. Isn't that good enough? I also hope you two lock yourselves up, live happily ever after, and have children soon. It wasn't you who told me to talk to Olivia Harper. My sister interrupted, he's just here to accompany me. Seeing you in such a fallen state, he felt compelled to show some concern. If you don't appreciate it, that's your loss. As she spoke, she tried to read the pain in my expression. But all I saw was cold indifference. I don't need anyone's concern. My sister rubbed her forehead, Jacob, my head hurts. The music here is giving me a headache. Gu Jacob was heartbroken seeing her like this and immediately forgot about me. My sister just recovered from her illness. I'll take her home first. We'll talk later. Watching their backs, Sophia Bennett said. Really, she probably thinks you love him so much that you came here to drown your sorrows. Your conscience is bothering you, isn't it? I patted Sophia Bennett on the shoulder, it's no big deal. I don't have any real feelings for him. I just chose the wrong person. Did you ever like him? Not even a little bit. At that moment, the young girl beside me answered a call. She cooed into the phone, all right, I know. I'll come back early. Why are you always worrying about me? I looked at her and suddenly recalled my third year of university during the vacation. I had accompanied Sophia Bennett, whose birthday I had celebrated, to her family's bar, and ended up getting drunk by accident. Nathan Carter came to pick me up afterward. He carried me into the car, then carried me home, and punished me by kissing me on the bed for a long time. When I woke up the next day, I found my lips swollen and red. I asked him what had happened to my lips. Nathan Carter teased me, it's because you drank too much. You're allergic, aren't you? I didn't believe him. Don't think I don't know it was you who kissed me. You're such a barbarian. He laughed, me, a barbarian? I punched his chest, but he grabbed both my hands and pulled me into his arms. Barbarian? Who told you to drink so much? Do you know how dangerous it was if I hadn't come to pick you up? That was Sophia Bennett's bar. How could it be dangerous? Before I could finish, he grabbed my chin with one hand and kissed me again. You're not allowed to drink anymore, unless I'm with you. Just then, someone bumped into my shoulder, snapping me out of my memories. He was gone again. Sophia Bennett asked me worriedly, Xian, are you okay? Oh, I'm fine. I was just thinking about something from the past. It's been so long. Maybe it's time to move on. I clinked glasses with her. Haha, I've already moved on. Sophia Bennett didn't say anything. She sighed. Last night, when she woke up in the middle of the night to drink water, she clearly saw her best friend crying in her sleep. So, what do you want to eat for your birthday? I'll treat you to a nice meal. I lowered my eyes. I don't have a birthday. I just popped out of a rock. Not long after, my father called. He was older now and didn't have the same fiery temper as before. He spoke in a gentle tone. Xian, what's going on between you and Gu Jacob? You didn't answer his calls and even said you want to cancel the wedding. Didn't we agree to have it next week? Emily Harris must have told you, but I'm not marrying Gu Jacob anymore. Not marrying him? The invitations have already been sent out, and the hotel is booked. How can you just cancel it like that? It's not that difficult. Just change the bride's name to Emily Harris's. After all, he only got close to me to marry Emily Harris and protect her as her family. My father's tone grew angry. Jacob, what's going on here? I didn't expect Gu Jacob to be standing right next to my father. Uncle, it's not like that. I was originally planning to marry Xianxian, but we encountered some issues. My sister's voice suddenly interrupted. It's my fault. Jacob is my ex-boyfriend. He's never let go of me, and I just happened to get divorced. You too. You're completely out of your minds. How could you do this to Xianxian? Jacob's voice also grew firmer. Uncle, I'm truly sorry. I can compensate Xianxian in other ways. I hope you'll grant us your blessing. Hearing this, I sighed in relief. My father said, do as you please. I won't be there. At that moment, my sister said, Dad, what about that villa in the suburbs you mentioned earlier? Don't call me Dad. I've never acknowledged you as my daughter. My only daughter is Xianxian. I heard the sound of a cup hitting the ground. Just as I finished speaking, his temper, which had calmed down, flared up again. My father was furious. And it was all because of me. I felt a bit moved, though it wasn't the right time. Mrs. Harris had been addicted to gambling for the past 2 years, losing a lot of money. My dad's feelings for her had long since faded, and Emily Harris wasn't even her biological daughter. But then my dad said, that villa was bought 4 years ago, and it's registered under Xuanxuan's name. None of you should even think about it. Dad, don't get angry. They're meant for each other. My dad's voice softened. Daughter, where are you? I'll come find you. No, I'm fine now. Don't worry about me. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Soon, Jacob's wedding partner was changed to my older sister Emily Harris. Gossiping relatives started hinting around and sending me messages, asking what was going on. I replied to all of them, don't ask. Just say they're each other's true love. I don't know what my dad told them, but they all said they wouldn't attend the wedding. I spent every day at Sophia Bennett's house painting. One day, she came home from work and asked me, have you been in touch with Jacob? No. Then you don't know that Jacob has been getting drunk at our family bar every day lately, even worse than after he proposed to you last time. He's probably just too happy to marry his white moonlight. I'm jealous. I don't think so. I heard him call your name. Sophia Bennett ran to check Jacob's Quora answer. She found that he had updated his answer yesterday. My fiancé saw my answer and said she doesn't want to marry me anymore. She wants to let me be with her sister. Actually, I felt a little guilty at first, but then I felt excited and surprised. I could finally be with my beloved sister. But after a few days, I realized. After all these years, my sister seemed different from the person I used to know. In my memory, she was so understanding, but now she was always talking badly about my fiancé in my ear, and she seemed so sharp. But the more she talks about how bad my fiancé is, the more it reminds me of how good she is to me. What's wrong with me? Shouldn't I be happy? Netizens have already criticized him heavily. Fortunately, your fiancé found out early and didn't let you harm her. Novels reflect reality, there really are such despicable men. Men's words can't be trusted. What you can't have is always what you want. This is like the white moonlight you finally got, only to turn into a grain of rice, right? This has nothing to do with me. I'm a bit confused by Jacob's thoughts and don't want to understand all this nonsense. I just hope we don't disturb each other, because I won't even give him a glance. However, that night, my phone suddenly rang with an unknown number. Olivia Harper, it's me. Can we meet up? Sorry, but I don't think we need to keep in touch anymore. Jacob can we talk on the phone? I'm really confused right now. I don't know what's wrong with me. I thought I'd be happy if I married her. Sorry, I'm not an emotional blogger. I can't solve your emotional problems. Go find someone else. Back to the old street where Old Harbor is located. The area has changed a lot, with many shops I've never seen before. I walked around the area but dared not step onto that street. I feared that memories would flood back like a tidal wave. I took some photos. I posted on Facebook, the first time I met you here, I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I was 16 that year. Not long after, Jacob actually commented on my Facebook post. How did you know I lived in this area when I was in high school? I replied, I don't know, It was just a coincidence. Then I deleted his contact information. By the time I knew Jacob, I had already graduated from college and never bothered to learn about his distant past. I wasn't interested. If I remember correctly, tomorrow is the day of his wedding with his sister. He actually came here to comment on my Facebook. He really has nothing better to do. Every intersection leading to Old Harbor triggers memories. Even the gray, black street lamp at the intersection still holds fragments of memories with him. I've always had someone come to clean Old Harbor regularly, keeping it exactly as it was. That winter after he left, I sat on the sofa we bought together, crying all night long. When I was too tired to cry anymore, I'd fall asleep, drifting through each day in a daze. I hoped that when I woke up, it would all be a nightmare. He would hold me in his arms. At this moment, I stand at the street corner, hesitating to go inside. Suddenly, someone calls my name from behind. Olivia Harper. Jacob Goose stands behind me, out of breath. I finally found you. I frown. How did you end up here? I saw what you posted on Facebook. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect you'd been following me since high school. Just now, during the oath, I finally realized that the person I love is you. Will you come back with me and marry me? I'll prove my love to you slowly over time. I smiled. I followed you? Are you overthinking this? I used to live around here too. When you said we first met, weren't you talking about meeting me here? No, I've never loved you. Being with you was just because. At that moment, a commotion of footsteps came from behind. My sister's veil was askew, and she was barefoot, looking disheveled. Good Jacob, I divorced my husband for you. Why are you abandoning me to be with her? Sister, your ex-husband told me last night that you bragged in front of your friends about how you dumped me because I was poor, yet I still loved you so much. I never knew there was any real reason behind your dumping me. That's not true. You know what kind of person my ex-husband is. Do you really believe what he says? He sent a video. That's you. Sister's face drained of color. I coldly crossed my arms, watching the farcical scene unfold before me. Goo Jacob finished speaking and looked at me. Olivia Harper, please forgive me this once? I said to Goo Jacob, all right, give me your phone. He immediately handed over his phone. Don't worry, I've already deleted that answer on Quora. It doesn't matter if you deleted your answer. I just want to tell you that the highest rated response under that question was written by me. Take a good look at it yourself. The highest rated one? Yes. Goo Jacob hurriedly took the phone and scrolled through it, his pupils slowly dilating. You mean to say that I'm the person who received the cornea transplant from your deceased boyfriend, and you're with me to fulfill his unfinished wish by using me as a substitute? How could that be? I was in a car accident, but I never received a cornea transplant. You're lying to me, aren't you? I'm not lying. I only found out a few days ago that I had the wrong person. That's impossible. You've been so kind to me. He seemed unwilling to accept the truth and tried to come over and hug me. I dodged him. I shook my head and turned to walk away. I unlocked the dusty door to Old Harbor and stepped inside. Light and dust mingled together, and old photos stuck to the walls caught my eye. Those were photos of me and Nathan Carter. Some were taken at home just for fun, while others were taken during trips we took together. He always said he didn't like taking photos, but when I suggested taking a photo together, he would automatically stand in place and place his hand on my shoulder. He even posted the photos on the walls of Old Harbor. He wanted everyone to know I existed. His hand was always on my shoulder, and his gaze was always gently fixed on me. Even though there were strangers behind us. I continued to stare at the photos, lost in thought. She had been hanging out with the tattoo shop owner since high school. She never loved you, Emily Harris said. You've been played by this woman, Jacob. Come back and marry me. You've always been unable to let go of me, haven't you? Goo Jacob's eyes widened in fury. As he stared at the photos, the veins on his forehead bulged, and he muttered, so it's always been because of another man. I remained calm and said, do you believe me now? Just leave after you've seen them. Emily Harris suddenly screamed. This man claims to be a tattoo artist, but he's just a lowlife thug. How dare he be compared to Gu Jacob? I walked over and slapped her hard on both cheeks with all my strength. Get out of here with your filthy mouth. Emily Harris tried to charge forward but was stopped by Gu Jacob. You go out first. I'll talk to her alone. No wonder you were so kind and gentle to me but never let me touch you. It's all because of this man on the wall, isn't it? So did you ever love me? I never loved you. Enough, stop talking. Nate hates it when people make a scene in his store. Just like I wrote in that reply, I never intended to actually marry you. I just wanted Nathan Carter to see me in a wedding dress. Everything else doesn't matter to me. I never could have married Gu Jacob anyway. Get out. In the end, I drove them away. The farce finally came to an end. The surroundings were eerily quiet, and even the ticking of the clock could be heard clearly. The words spoken and the things done here began to replay clearly in front of my eyes. Nate, let's get a new sofa. This one is so tacky. Sure, what color do you like? Sky blue. That's a bit tacky. He called it tacky, but he still got me a sky blue sofa, even though the color clashed with the dark, industrial style of Old Harbor. I moved all my belongings inside. I planned to stay here for a while. A mutual friend of mine and Jacob Gu told me that after Jacob Gu eloped, he didn't return, but Emily Harris invited a lot of people to the wedding, making even more people laugh at her. Emily Harris's ex-husband even showed up and caused a scene. The scene was chaotic. I didn't care about any of those men, none of them could compare to my Nathan Carter. The weather was nice today, and I curled up on the sofa. Before I knew it, I had fallen asleep. The curtains fluttered in the breeze, and the clock ticked on the wall. Time seemed to flow backward to that summer. I felt like I had discovered a treasure, no longer needing to wander aimlessly. I would go to Nathan Carter's Old Harbor every day. I brought my homework notebook and practice book, and would hunch over the small table in his shop to do my homework. Though I felt out of place in this artistically charged environment, I didn't care. The people who came here were a mix of all kinds. One day, a man teased me, "Hey, is this Mr. Joe's little mistress? She comes here every day." The next second, Nathan Carter kicked the man's chair out from under him. "Can't you see the kid is wearing a school uniform? Just teasing. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll kick you out." I quickly chimed in, "Nate, let me help you kick him out." Nathan Carter laughed and said, "Good boy." At that moment, I was truly happy. Later, when I got into a fight with Emily Harris and my dad slapped me, Nathan Carter found out. He hugged me for the first time and comforted me. Not long after that, Emily Harris and her high school bully boyfriend were taught a lesson by some tough guys from the neighborhood. They couldn't even act tough at school anymore. She no longer deliberately brought people to intimidate me and disrupt my studies, and I no longer had to argue with her at home. I don't know exactly what happened. But I don't need to guess. Nathan Carter must have stood up for me. One day, my sister's attitude toward me changed. I had no idea what she was up to. To my surprise, she secretly followed me to Old Harbor. She deliberately wrapped her arm around mine, pretending to be very close to me. "Hey, can you ask your friend to get a unique tattoo on my thigh?" I pulled my arm away from her, feeling incredibly uncomfortable. "He doesn't serve minors here." My sister was eager to say, "I repeated a grade, so I'm already 18 and an adult." Nathan Carter didn't say a word, just coldly lifted his eyelids to look at her. "I don't serve minors, whether you're an adult or not." My sister refused to give up. "I'll pay triple the price, is that okay?" Nathan Carter only said 3 words, "Get out." Then he kicked her out the door. At that moment, Nathan Carter looked so cool in my eyes. Emily Harris deliberately spoke loudly, "Don't think I don't know you slept with Olivia Harper. You're so nice to her." The next second, she was slapped hard across the face. It was Nathan Carter's older sister. My brother doesn't hit women. I will. Her sister also knew me, though she didn't appear often, but she was always kind to me. Emily Harris slinked away, tail between her legs. One time I was too tired and fell asleep while doing my homework. When I woke up, Nathan Carter's jacket was covering me, and the sky was dark. He had cooked me a bowl of noodles, holding the rim of the bowl with his right hand, his veins slightly visible, and his cold, pale skin with tattoos looked incredibly sexy. "It smells so good, thank you, Nate. Eat your noodles and go home quickly." While I was slurping the noodles, he was drawing beside me. The light was dim, and I quietly turned my head to look at his profile. Just looking at him made my heart race. After finishing, I asked him, "Can I stay here for the night?" He narrowed his eyes dangerously. "I can pay," I said. After my dad hit me that day, he didn't say a word. I don't know if he felt guilty or what, but he transferred a lot of money into my account. I hadn't gone downstairs to eat with my family for several days. Paying isn't an option. "Do you think I need your money?" He rejected me coldly. I refused to leave. "Last time I argued with my sister, I could stay at your place for the night." "Why not this time?" "Last time was special." He picked me up and said, "You're just a girl. You can't get into the habit of staying overnight at a stranger's house. Don't you know that?" In the end, he still sent me home. Before leaving, he patted my head and said, "Don't worry. If she bullies you again, tell me." When I got to the neighborhood, I saw him still standing downstairs. His tall figure was shrouded in the shadows, his fingertips flickering, exuding an indescribable sense of loneliness. I secretly took a photo of him. I often pull it out and look at it, smiling to myself. Emily Harris was so kind not to tell my dad that I often went to Nathan Carter's place because she thought Nathan Carter would corrupt me. But Nathan Carter never gave me the chance to go astray. On my 18th birthday in my senior year of high school, he gave me a 5-year college entrance exam preparation book, which was very unromantic. Later, due to the heavy academic workload, I went to his shop less frequently. One day after a major exam, I went back. I noticed that the tattoo shop was filled with stylishly dressed women, and I suddenly regretted not changing my clothes before coming. It turned out that after a certain influencer visited the shop, many people came to his place. Some were genuinely interested in getting tattoos. Others were just there because he was so cool. Wearing a simple black t-shirt, he stood there effortlessly, drawing everyone's attention. When they saw me, others whispered, "That's Joe Boss's sister, right?" I've never hated the word sister more than at that moment. "Where's Nate?" Nathan Carter emerged, his hair a bit longer, framing his handsome eyebrows. His eyelids lifted slightly, glancing at me with a smirk, exuding that signature rebellious charm. "Who's that?" "He's He Xian," he said. "I thought the university genius had forgotten about me. I came to see how you're doing. I didn't expect you to be living so comfortably." "Yeah." He didn't deny it. I was so angry I could have bitten my teeth off. While I was in the store, a few beautiful girls came over curiously to strike up a conversation with me. "Are you his sister? Can you get me your brother's WeChat? I'll send you 100 red packets if you do." I felt guilty and said, "No, my brother said he won't date anyone before he's 30. They calmed down a bit but still tried to flirt. In the end, they all came over with disappointed expressions. "Your brother is so cold. He didn't even say a single extra word." I tried to act like it didn't matter. "He's usually pretty nice to me." "Well, that's because you're different. He told us you're his sister." "I'm not his sister, I'm." But when I turned around, I saw Nathan Carter standing behind me with a smirk on his face. I suddenly couldn't speak and pretended to do my homework, scribbling on the paper with my pen. My heart was racing, and I dared not look up. He stopped beside me. "Hey, you're doing your English workbook. What are you writing on the scratch paper?" I bluffed, "Mind your own business." As night fell, Old Harbor grew quiet. The wind chimes swayed gently, their delicate tinkling sounding like a knock on my heart. The glass became a mirror. I dared not look at him directly, so I pretended to gaze at the scenery outside while secretly peeking at his reflection in the mirror. After all the guests had left, I took a deep breath and asked him, "Nathan Carter, can I ask you a question?" "Go ahead. What kind of girl do you like?" "I haven't really thought about it. If I like her, that's enough." I gathered my courage, stared into his eyes, blushing and looking at him boldly. He raised his eyebrows slightly and looked back at me teasingly, the ambiguity making my ears burn. Now, do you think there's even a little bit of mutual attraction between us? Nathan Carter burst out laughing. You're just a high school student. Do you even know what love is? Of course I do. Then who was it who went around telling everyone that you wouldn't date anyone before you turned 30? That's because I was afraid of you. I said it so softly, afraid someone else would take you away. Don't like me. If you don't study hard, don't come here anymore. I managed to squeeze out only one sentence. You're such an old-fashioned person. If you don't come, I won't come either. I'll really come then. I angrily packed my books into my bag, trying to hold back my tears, but they still fell uncontrollably. Nathan Carter's face rarely showed any panic. He took a tissue and wiped my tears. Ancestor, don't cry. Let's talk about this after you finish the college entrance exam, okay? With those words, I buried myself in studying for the college entrance exam, and every day was filled with motivation. When I received the admission notice from my dream university, I rushed to find him. By the time he finished his work, night had already fallen. We had a barbecue on the rooftop of his house, and Nathan Carter celebrated with me, but he still wouldn't let me drink. But I insisted, and I drank half a can of beer just to give myself the courage. Then I pretended to be drunk and confessed my feelings to him for the second time. Nathan Carter, if you don't make me your girlfriend, I'll be taken by another guy when I go to college. Are you scared? As I approached him, he extinguished his cigarette and tilted his head back. Dare you try? So, do you like me or not? He grabbed my wrist, and after a moment of dizziness, I found myself sitting on his lap, my heart pounding. Have you thought this through? You're going to college, willing to be separated by thousands of miles from your boyfriend? We won't even see each other often. I've been secretly in love with you for so long. How could I not have thought this through? I don't care, I want you, I just like you. He leaned against my shoulder and smiled softly, gently pinching my earlobe with his fingertips. My ears turned bright red. So cute. I was so embarrassed. Don't say that. Will you agree? Nathan Carter leaned in close and kissed my lips. I agree. That kiss, that starlight. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. We took our first photo together. The summer after my senior year of high school was the happiest time of my life. We watched the sunset at Old Harbor, went to a nearby store to find old movie DVDs, drove to the nearby beach, and he carried me on his back as we chased the waves. The sweet taste of watermelon, the never-ending chirping of cicadas, and the gentle hymn, all of which made up my most vibrant summer. I had already decided that after college, I would often take the bus back to Riverside to visit him. It was only a 2-hour drive. But once we started dating, I realized it wasn't necessary. Nathan Carter would drive to meet me on his own, and we could see each other several times a month. He never missed an important occasion. I loved his embrace so much. It was so warm and so safe. Sometimes during short holidays or winter/summer breaks, he'd take me to places I wanted to visit. When my friends first saw him, they all said he looked like a bad guy. But years have passed. Now they all say he's an amazing man. Once, when I was sick and went to the hospital in the middle of the night, he drove all night to find me. When he arrived the next day, his eyes were bloodshot, and he stayed by my side the entire time. He held my hand tightly. That was when my dad found out about us. At first, my dad saw the tattoos on his hands and his unique aura, and secretly scolded me. But after Nathan Carter talked to him alone, my dad didn't say anything against it anymore. When he left, he even said something he'd never said before: "I'm sorry for that slap I gave you during your teenage years." He said he was afraid Mrs. Harris would target me at home, and that slap was meant for her, so I shouldn't hold it against him. Nathan Carter has a beautiful, graceful bow tattooed on his left chest, wrapped around my English name. Mine is a sleek arrow, designed by him, symbolizing that I've hit his heart. My Nathan Carter is the best. But I hate that but the most. If only there wasn't that but. It was my birthday during my senior year of college. It wasn't the weekend, and I had to go to my internship. But Nathan Carter had driven all the way from City C just to see me. When I got dressed and went downstairs, I saw him waiting for me at the dormitory building. On that chilly winter morning, Nathan Carter was waiting for me at the dormitory building. The campus had been covered in snow, and the ground was dotted with patches of snow. He was wearing a black coat, with the white scarf I had knitted for him tied around his neck, with the character Shen embroidered at the end. When he saw me, the cold expression on his face softened into a gentle smile. He kissed my forehead. He handed me the warm breakfast he had been holding in his arms. "Be good, don't get distracted during your internship today." He said he would take me out to dinner after I finished class in the afternoon to celebrate my birthday. I was extremely excited all day, full of energy, and couldn't help but sneakily send messages to Nathan Carter. He said to invite my friends to celebrate with me, that he would cover all the expenses, and we could do whatever we wanted as long as I was happy. Before leaving work, I received a message from Nathan Carter. "I'm at the cake shop picking up the cake. Wait for me downstairs at the company building." But I waited, and he never showed up. Winter nights fall quickly. Streetlights began to glow one by one. I blew warm breath into my palms and sent him a message, but he didn't reply. "Maybe the cake isn't ready yet? Which cake shop are you at? Send me your location, and I'll come find you." No reply for a long time. I could only search for the nearest cake shop and follow the map's directions. However, on the way, I heard from someone walking in the opposite direction that there had been a serious car accident nearby. A drunk driver ran a red light, lost control, hit pedestrians on the side of the road, and then crashed into a cake shop, shattering the glass. I was extremely anxious. I called him, but no one answered. By the time I arrived, the scene was already cordoned off. I rushed over and saw a white scarf stained with blood. It was the one I had knitted. The character Xian embroidered on it was already blurred. The broken cake and cream scattered on the ground hadn't been cleaned up yet. In that moment, my heart felt like it had been torn to pieces. The world spun around me. Nathan Carter was taken away by an ambulance. I stumbled over to the police officer by the roadside to confirm the hospital, but my vision began to blur. St. Mary's Hospital, okay, I'll go there immediately. In the taxi. Then my phone rang. It was Nathan Carter calling. I trembled several times before finally answering. "Nathan Carter, how are you?" On the other end, his hoarse yet gentle voice came through slowly. "The scarf you gave me fell off." I replied, choking back tears, "It's in my arms, it's in my arms." "Be good, I'm fine, don't cry. Crying too much will give you a headache. Make sure you eat breakfast. And live. Happy birthday. I'll be at the hospital soon. I want to hear you say it yourself. What you're saying now doesn't count." But in the end, those 3 sentences became the last 3 words I ever heard him say. The man I loved more than anything. He passed away on my birthday. Nathan Carter. Nathan Carter. Nathan Carter. No matter how many times I called his name, I never heard any response. From that day on, the only sounds of his voice I ever heard were the voice messages I couldn't bring myself to delete from our chat history. I don't know how I survived those days. All I know is that every day after he left, my world was colorless. I have never hated myself so much. If I had never met him, if we had never dated, if he hadn't come to celebrate my birthday, this accident wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have died. I don't want to celebrate any more birthdays. I just want him to be safe and sound. That stunning summer encounter. It ended with a winter funeral. My heart felt like a piece had been torn out. The last New Year we spent together, we made wishes by the river. I asked him, "What's your New Year's wish?" "First, I hope to see you in a wedding dress before I die. That's my New Year's wish this year. Second, Nathan Carter promised to love Olivia Harper forever. As for wearing a wedding dress, I will definitely wear one for you someday. Don't worry. But I've never seen you in a suit before. I really want to see you in one. Aren't you graduating next year? I'll wear a suit to meet you, take graduation photos with you, and attend the graduation ceremony. How about that?" Sure. But in the end, I never waited, and he never saw me. I wish all of this had just been a dream. Nate, since you left, I haven't celebrated my birthday. I hate that day. The cake you ordered for me came with a small envelope containing a card. I've never brought myself to open it. I've been fooling myself into thinking that as long as I don't open it, it means you can still wish me a happy birthday and you haven't left. Time passed, and I finally opened the envelope. I took out the yellowed card. Happy 22nd birthday, boss. I have something to tell you. I'm planning to settle down in Riverside. I've already started looking for a place. You can focus on finding a job here. Nathan Carter loves you. I whispered into the air. I love you too. The wind chimes suddenly rang out, as if in response. She came to my house when I was just starting high school, a year older than me. I've blocked all of Jacob Goo's contact information. He came to Old Harbor to find me, asking if we could both let go of the past and start over. I only said one sentence. Go to hell and forget the past. After saying that, I turned and walked inside.